Hello, everybody. This is Sonev.
And this is Wave of Shadow. We are your Team Liquid casting golems coming at you live, bringing you AHGL, the final game late on in the week. This is week 6, I believe, and bringing you Amazon versus Google.
Yep, I expect this to be a great game. Both of these teams very, very talented, and we're just going to jump right into the bans. The players have actually been doing this very quickly, which, is always nice having the ban phase go fast. And we've got, all right, 4 bans that you almost never see.
What? I don't. Apparently, our sound levels are a little bit weird, so I don't know. You might have to listen to that, but I can't tell. So anyway, ye, w- I okay. I'm gonna talk about these bands for a second while you fix the sound. But what? I don't know if these are targeted. Okay, I'm lost. I'm completely lost for words here.
Um,
Garen, Tristana, LeBlanc, Rumble Rise, and Vi.
okay,
Now,
Vi I've seen often.
she's very strong. I mean, I'll give it that. I guess I'm assuming that. I'm guessing. Well, you know what? I guess considering that was an Amazon ban, that Vi, right? So that might have been targeted at Ravenite.
Oh, quite possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ravenite does have a very good Vi. We saw him play that 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Hmm.
Very, very, very strong. And Vi just in general is a great champion. Banned all the time in solo queue. And, oh, I love this. Okay. Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao has gotten so popular lately. And
Because he's so friggin' strong. You
he
just
is.
be a man and kill everybody.
He's just really, really good, and I love having one on my team just because he's so versatile and just all around just awesome. I love him.
And once again, I'm wondering if that was sort of a not a ban, but sort of a targeted pick, trying to take Xin Zhao out of the hands of Boley, who absolutely dominated last week on Xin Zhao. So.
Yes, yes, he did. And I mean, he does fit into a lot of compositions just because he just gets really tanky, and he can just dive onto your carries and stick on them for pretty much forever, and
Hmm.
just keep knocking them up. And then his ultimate obviously will knock people away, just to clear him away from your team. And he's just so useful on your team, and I I don't see a reason why not to take him right now.
Yeah, he's just incredibly, incredibly strong. So I'm wondering who we're going to see try to go into the jungle against Xin Zhao, because Xin Zhao's jungle strength and early ganks are, very, very scary. So they're going to need someone equally threatening, it seems. And we're going to see what? 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 Okay. I,
I
I
know how you feel about Trundle.
no. Okay. Okay. How do I feel about Trundle? You tell me. You tell me.
You think that the team that has Trundle will automatically lose. That's how you feel about Trundle. But
But
I
no,
love
but my
Trundle.
feelings, my feelings toward Trundle is very complicated. I love Trundle. Trundle holds a very, dear spot in my heart. He's the one who carried me season one. It's all like I love Trundle, but he doesn't have a place in season three. Especially now, I'm actually wondering. I mean, I've heard the rumors have been flying around the Reddit sphere, but I believe his Q is bugged right now, and that he actually isn't getting auto attack damage from it, or the bonus Q damage or something like that. Like it's doing less damage than it's supposed to, supposedly. So that might be a little bit of trouble. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm looking into these picks some more. I'm seeing Tarek. I mean Tarek's always a super strong pick, and I'm being told that I'm significantly louder than you, Sonov. I don't know if you're trying to fix the mics or anything, but I can't hear you right now. So we'll see anyway how that goes. Anyway, we're just waiting for the rest of these, and I'm Tarek, like just a universally strong pick. He's incredibly strong right now. He's being nerfed to hell on the PBE, but that hasn't gone through yet. They're nerfing his armor aura. They're nerfing his passive. His passive is going to turn into something pretty interesting. He's actually going to get damage on extra mana, so it'll be a little bit like Rise. But I mean, until then, Tarek's still super, super strong. Um, so again, still just going into this, waiting to see what happens with Google's next picks.
Okay, you
And I
ready?
hear there's the mic.
Yeah, alright, dude. I need to fix my computer at some point, clearly. It's struggling. Click on the speaker icon and click.
All right, there we go. Now we're seeing some picks. Ezreal and Leona. So now finally, well, I don't want to say finally, but like there's some standard picks. Ezreal, Leona, pretty common.
Alright.
Leona's incredibly strong in Gauge. Ezreal can just sit back while Leona just, puts up her shield and forms a huge human wall of CC. So, I mean, that's going to be really, really strong in the hands of in the hands of Tomato Orange on Ezreal. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what Amazon's going to pick to try and counter that really really strong bottom lane.
Yeah, I really do love Leona just in general. Um, Especially, okay, Leona Xin Zhao is going to be really, really tricky for the enemy carries on Google's team, and Trundle will be nice a little bit for that with his pillar, and Tarek as well with the this pretty low cooldown stun, but they're going to need someone with mobility. Either their AD, well, I would say both their AD carry and their AP carry need to have some sort of disengage or mobility, or else they're going to get trashed.
See, but here's the problem I see with Trundle. Right now, Google has three champions that can ignore, I mean, essentially ignore his pillar. Xin Zhao, Ezreal, and Leona all have dashes, or in Ezreal's case, a blink. They can just jump right around that pillar. I mean, yeah, the pillar's decent disengage, but if you're trying to dive and Leona hits you with an ultimate, I mean, they can get around that.
Right, but if Xin Zhao and Leona dive in, and even like Ezreal would have to jump towards them, but the Trundle pillar can separate the team, and that is going to be really useful, especially with Graves and Shen. Graves with his smoke screen obviously is just a huge pain in general, and then Shen, if Xin Zhao and Leona dive in, Shen can ult on his carry, and the Trundle pillar can separate the rest of the team, and I'm liking Trundle in this. Like
All right, I listen. I'm honestly like I'm not gonna get any caster bias in on this at all. But like I love Trundle. I want to see what happens with this. I mean I'm seeing now with the Shen and Graves picks, like yeah, the team's going to be tanky. Trundle, Tarek, and Shen. Graves is the tankiest of the AD carries, but do they really have the damage to be able to take out like to take out Google's team right now? I'm not really sure.
and it's a good point. I mean, well, no, Amazon's team, but
Amazon. Sorry.
but like Google, I think Google does need a high burst mage right now, and there's plenty to pick from. I mean, pretty much like obviously I love
No,
Annie
Google's
right
team.
now. What?
Google's team, isn't it? Xin Zhao, Ezreal, and Leona
Yeah, no,
are on
that's
Google's
that's
team.
Amazon.
What?
Oh my god.
All right. Anyway, keep going. Go ahead.
um, like I know you know that I like Annie a lot right now.
Yeah.
Um, I've been spamming games with her. But like just any of the general, high burst AP carries, even like something like Ari, high mobility would fit in great with Amazon's team, right? And just I don't know. Google needs a burst mage. That's what they need because you're right. They may not have the damage necessary.
Well, we're definitely gonna have to see where this goes. And I mean, the picks and bans, they're definitely thinking about this. They're taking their sweet time. So I'm really hoping that we're looking at high strategy into this. We're gonna see what the pick is gonna be. I'm almost disappointed we're not going to see a Thresh this time around
Oh.
because I still don't think he's been used. I've never seen him used to his true potential. Like I don't even think he wasn't really used in LCS today, was he?
I didn't see any of the games, so
I
I'm
don't
not
think he
sure.
was. So I mean he was available to be picked, but I don't think any of the teams picked him as far as I know. And I mean they were talking about how he's pretty overpowered, but I haven't really seen any team, even pro teams, use him to his full potential yet.
Singed and Kale. Okay. Kale mid is bonkers right now. Absolutely ridiculous. Um, if she gets snowballed at all, she just completely takes a game like just by herself. It's ridiculous. And then Singed top, very very tanky, useful champion in general. I love Singed. Once you get past that, weaker early game, he just doesn't care anymore. Great.
This is what what. All right. Remember what I said about I'm not allowed to be, no caster bias?
Yep.
Remember how I said that?
I do remember. That was like
That's
3
that's
minutes
gone.
ago.
It's gone. It's out the
It's
window
gone.
now. That's
Wait,
out the window
why?
now.
Because you love Eve or because you hate her right now?
I don't hate her right now. I want her to work. I don't hate her at all. I
Okay.
definitely want her to
Well,
work.
we're gonna have to see if Google
I,
can make her
I,
work.
it's not Google. It's Amazon.
No, it's not.
All right.
I'm okay. We'll have to see because I.
Let me just hold on. Xin Zhao, Ezreal, Leona, Singed, and Kale. Okay. The Xin Zhao, Ezreal, Leona, Xin Zhao,
Okay, just
Gale.
kidding.
That's
Alright.
Google.
You're right. No, you're right. Okay.
Okay.
My
So as I
mistake.
said, I would very, very much like. I'm gonna just insert just a tiny, tiny little bit of caster bias into this. I really, really want Amazon to make this team work. I don't think it's going to work, but I
I
really want it to work. Amazon, make it happen.
it's gonna be tough.
Make it
Google
happen.
does have a very, very strong team. Um oh man. Like Singe
I like Eve doesn't have the burst she used to have.
right.
Where is the damage from Amazon? That's what I'm worried about. Like they don't have like Shen, no damage. Trundle, no damage. Tarek is I don't know, it's Tarek. Graves like don't get me wrong, Graves can deal damage, but he's got to build that up for a while. And I mean Evelyn, she's really like her ultimate really hurt. Like it I mean it's hurting from what it once was. It's no comparison. You have to use it in a very specific order. You have to get that DFG or it becomes irrelevant. And it's just she doesn't have that ability to like completely nuke down one person like she used to. Yes, she's got an AoE percent health ultimate still, but it's only going to be as effective if the enemy team is all at full health. You have to initiate with it now.
Right.
I don't know.
And like I'm looking at them, and Google's team composition is very synergistic. I mean, Sinzao, Leona can dive in, Singe can just run real fast, Kale has her ultimate to just save anyone she needs to, and Ezreal just mobile in general. And they do have a lot of burst damage. They can pick someone out. Google or Amazon's team, not it just doesn't quite have the synergy. Like they have a lot of cool champions that can do stuff, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to work it all together. It's gonna be interesting to see if they can swing it the way they need to.
Yeah, I'm not ready. I mean, I'm not ready to discount Amazon.
Oh
Yeah, don't
no,
get me wrong.
not at all.
Both of these teams are very, very strong players thus far. Like they've both got considerably winning records. I believe one of them is 3-1, one of them is 2-1. I think something like that.
Sounds about right.
Or no, actually that was from the week before.
Okay.
But anyway, I mean, I think that's. I mean, again, like we've got last year's champions in here, right? Like, and I mean, the team is a little bit different, but they've shown thus far that I mean they can still like they're definitely huge contenders, and Google is too. Like they're among the top teams in AHGL right now. This is a crucial matchup this week.
Right. You often see Trundle with a poke composition, which, his pillar really is a great disengage, so you can just sort of, poke down towers and then walk away. And it works really well with something like Zyra or Nivea or just something, and then Caitlyn as their AD carry, just like some sort of back and forth, and you sort of avoid engagements as much as possible. That's not what Amazon's team is doing right now. They're looking for a fight composition. Like they have Graves, they have Tarek, they have Evelyn, they have Shen,
Yeah.
and then Trundle doesn't quite fit in that role. So I don't understand the logic behind it right now. Maybe we'll see. I mean,
We're definitely gonna see.
I would assume that Bully isn't playing Trundle just for fun. Like he obviously knows how to play the champion. So I don't know.
I'm really I'm interested to see because I mean Boley was just so aggressive. Like last week against Curse, they absolutely shut down the mid lane, if you remember. And I mean that was in no small part thanks to Boley's invasive tactics. The problem is, whereas Trundle is, I mean, he's a pretty good 1v1 duelist. His sticking power, I mean, you'd think it would be pretty good. With he's got a self area speed boost and he's got his pillar, but his sticking power really starts to like fall off. He doesn't have that AoE slow like Zen. He doesn't have knock up. He's got no real hard CC to speak of. So I mean, unless you're like someone really wants to fight Boley one-on-one, and he's all like, okay, yeah, sure, no problem, I'll fight you one-on-one.
Right.
But chances are they're not going to want to do that. So I mean, I'm not really sure how this is going to work in their favor. Boley, like, I mean, how is he going to be so aggressive as to pick people off?
Right. The mid matchup I think is going to be rough for Weragion. Kale is strong right now, and Eve does not have ranged abilities. So I want to say that like Amazon needs to have a lot of jungle presence mid, but it's Trundle, so it's like
Yeah. You know what? I mean, the thing is, Kale. I mean, she's got a little bit of a self speed boost. I think ganks on KT Flash will be. I mean, they'll be decent enough. I mean, I don't think that's going to be a problem. And I think Warajin is actually going to do okay in mid because I don't think he's going to play aggressively. I don't think you can play aggressively.
He can't. No, there's no way.
He's basically just going to have to hang back in stealth. And I mean, that's a good thing about it. Like, he can hang back in stealth and not worry about eating any harass until he wants to use his hate spike to CS, at which point he probably is going to eat a bunch of harass. So maybe he'll start, the 500 pot start. We'll see. But I think overall he'll be able to keep up. He's shown the ability, like, he can keep up with the best. I have no worries about that. It's just that burst team fighting ability that Evelyn is partially lost. I'm wondering how effective he's going to be. Is he going to start roaming really early? Are him and Boley going to really start, doing what they were doing in the game against Curse? Are they going to roam as a duo and just try to shut down the jungle and AP mid of Google? Well, we're just going to have to see.
Well, now I wonder if we were talking about this a little while ago. It may have been last week at some point. Some people are starting to build Eve much tankier, getting that Warmogs and just building, tankier, so you have the sticking power, like you can just keep fighting while still having that percent health damage ultimate, which I think has some merit, and maybe, it could possibly be employed here. You get a really, really tanky team from Amazon, and just, sort of stick with that theme. So
now I was going to say the 3-minute mark has passed, so we now can reveal the summoners.
Oh.
And so we are going to see teleport from both top laners.
Yep.
Rosenfire picking up Ghost and Steven picking up Flash. That's pretty standard. What is not standard, however, is Boley's summoner spells.
I disagree.
Do you? I was going to say, I don't think it's a bad choice, because I think Trundle sort of needs that artificial sticking power you get in Exhaust. I mean, he already trades 1v1 really well, but I think without Exhaust, he does have a little bit of trouble sticking. But I've also seen Ghost on Trundle.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see how, one, might want to run Flash. I don't think Flash is necessary against this team, true, but I would think in this case, Ghost might have been a better choice, but we'll see.
I do like the Exhaust just because, you can get in and, your Pillar slows and your the Corrupted Soil or whatever it's called, speeds you up. But, having that Exhaust for a little something extra, just to, reduce damage coming in from, since Zhao and Kale are going to do a lot of freaking damage.
Yeah.
So, I like the Exhaust, and I like carrying Exhaust on a lot of junglers when I can. So I understand it.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see in the mid matchup. I'm interested to see sort of the item builds. I'm going to assume out of KT Flash we're going to see something like a Nashor's Tooth spell pen build with Leandries.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to build Kale, but I think those are the two items I usually.
And what I'm really interested to see is are we going to see the standard AP build out of Origin? Are we going to see that? Are we going to see that DFG? Are we going to see Haunting Guys? Are we going to see him build a Death Cap? Is it going to be like a full out burst AP build? Is he going to try to make that work, or is he going to go with something tankier like you said? I don't know.
Yeah, I do want to see how he handles it, because I don't play Eve myself, but I always have trouble dealing with Kale mid, especially with some a strong ganker like Xin Zhao. That's gonna be a little bit scary for Origin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if we are going to see a level 1 invade.
Yes.
I think we could from Amazon. They have the Taric. They have Shen taunt if he grabs it. I think usually Shens will grab taunt level 1 if they're invading.
Yeah, I want to say it does look as though Amazon's, despite what we may think of their team composition in general, it does look as though their level 1 invade is probably stronger. If Boley, picking up Pillar level 1 is, an iffy choice. If you're going to pick up a kill for it, great, but it's going to hurt your jungling if you don't have this bite.
Right.
But if you have that Pillar level 1, you've got targeted stun, you've got a taunt. That's a pretty strong level 1 invade.
Yeah, no, I'm I love seeing invades, because I really do think that they just give so much power to the team that they obviously give so much power to the team coming out ahead. But there's also a certain amount of finesse that goes into a level 1 fight, and it's if you can execute those well, you can really do a lot for your team.
Definitely. And now for my absolute most favorite part of the cast.
You have to wait. My game is.
Yeah, I was going to say mine is too.
Get you up.
It's really taking Swaziland. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so now my absolute most favorite part of the game is the skin analysis. So we do have for Amazon, we've got Mafia Graves. We are talking a little bit about Mafia lately, weren't we?
Yeah, different Mafia, but yes.
Different kind of Mafia, but and of course Scorpion Shen, which is a pretty good looking skin, I gotta say.
Yeah.
But out of Google, we are gonna see Riot Squad Singed, Judgment Kale. Everybody's got that skin.
Hey,
Whatever.
hey now.
Well, they do.
Don't you be dissing my Judgment KO.
And Valkyrie Leona, but really, I think where it matters is that Commandos and Zhao.
No, no,
That
no,
is
no,
that
no.
is. What do you mean?
No, Riot Squad. Always go Riot. That's like Riot Squad Singed is definitely one of my favorites.
I don't like the Riot. I have the Riot Nasus. It's such a terrible looking skin. I don't like the Riot. I don't like the Riot skins. I don't like them.
Oh man. All right. So
anyway, all right. Looking at items, we're going to see a flask start from Waragian, actually, which, I mean, that flask and pots, definitely she's going to need that sustain, and especially since her hate spike now scales really, really, like, the mana cost it scales really, really highly as you level it up, so she's definitely much more in need of mana than she used to be, so flask pots seems to me to be a smart opening.
Yep, and as we were going, we were seeing pings all around, and I believe it's because they're expecting a gank or a level 1 invade from Amazon, as they should. And here comes Teddy. I mean, he's looking out for blood. They're just gonna drop the ward there. I love dropping, just getting in there, getting the ward on the raids. It's just like, oh hey, all right, so we're gonna see you if you come through here.
Yeah, I was looking at Google. If you look, they spread themselves out completely. If you look, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all those 5 spots across the map. They covered every single entrance, and they were ready to see what would happen. So they pretty much knew that they were gonna they pretty much knew that an invade was gonna happen. They made sure to set up so that it would be seen no matter where they came in, and they were going to adjust for it accordingly. So really, really well played from Google.
Well, more importantly than knowing the invade is coming is knowing that their level 1 is just so much weaker. They had no desire to even try and fight that. So they scouted out. They did exactly what they needed to do and make sure that nothing bad happened in that first minute and a half.
Yep, and Google has actually warded up the Amazon jungle, so there are both jungles are sort of counter warded just to be able to see if any stealing's going to be going on, if any shenanigans are going to be happening. And look at this, Tomato Orange and Yari is going to head over to bottom lane. They're going to try and stop the double golem take from Teddy and AHGL, and they actually didn't really manage to get there in time. They did pick up the big golem, and now AHGL and Teddy are going to try to pick up that little golem. He's going to beat on Tomato Orange a bit.
I think they're just trying to.
Yeah, they're going to pick it up. So,
but HK actually did take a fair amount, a noticeable amount of damage from that, and he does have to use one of his potions already. So that
so pretty successful overall, I'd say.
And
Steven and Frozen Fire going at it in the top lane. Frozen Fire eating a bit of that key strike, that Vorpal Blade harass. Sorry, and Steven eating a bit of poison. That's not going to do much.
Yeah, Frozen Fire just walking through, doesn't really care. He's just like, okay, whatever, you can do that. And I mean, right now, no real aggression. The thing is, for Amazon, Trundle doesn't have that much ganking power early on, early on or in general. I mean, he is decent, but he's no Xin Zhao.
Yeah, we're really going to have to see. I mean, I think where that's going to come into play, where that Trundle's going to come into play, I really just want to see if they're really going to try and shut down the blue buff again like they did last game against Curse. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that with the Trundle.
Right. They really did take complete control of the map that entire game. Frozen Fire taking a lot of damage up top from Steven.
Yeah, he really is. He's got to be real careful. And looking at this, Waragian and Boley starting the aggressive counter jungling already. Waragian going up there, and looking at this, Boley's ready to steal the red buff right out from under Raven Knight's nose. I'm really interested to see how this goes. Is he going to be able to pick this up? Or Raven Knight's going to walk in and see it. Boley's going to have to run his butt off. He really still wants to take it. He's actually going to start dueling one-on-one. He gets that contingent down. The exhaust going down. He might be able to pick up this first blood. Raven Knight just bite doing so much damage. Raven Knight having to flash out. And wow, oh my goodness, he did pick up the red buff, no problem. Waragian eating so much damage though, and gets killed by the Ignite from KT Flash, just not able to keep up to that damage. Really good play from Boley, but I mean, he had to choose between dueling or saving his teammate.
Yeah, that was really, really well done from Boley. He knew all he wanted was the red buff. That's all he wanted. And in taking that, he did set behind Raven Knight, sorry. Very, very much. I mean, Raven Knight is now level 2, has no red buff, and Bully's going to be level 4 very soon. But yeah, unfortunately, I mean, Waragian kind of came. Waragian didn't have to come up. He should have just stayed mid, doing his thing. He was actually doing really well against against KT Flash, just like, in lane, but came up really for no reason.
Well, I think the issue was, I mean, he went back to lane actually to start farming up a bit, but as soon as Bully got discovered, KT Flash was going to head up there and start a 2v1. So Warajian sort of had to head up to, like, otherwise he'd risk Bully dying, and 1v1ing a Kayle early on, or I mean, almost at any point in the game is a bad idea, especially if you're Evelyn.
Yeah, it just seemed Warajian overcommitted a little bit too much. All he needed to do was get up in Flash's face and just be like, no, I'm not going to let you do this. And then, oh, Frozen Fire getting jumped on by Steven. And he's getting low, man. He's got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, that harasses really, like, Frozen Fire. I mean, until he hits level 6 and, until he picks up his Catalyst or whatever he's going to use for regen, he's in a little bit of trouble against Shen. So Raven Knight's going to come top. He's going to take over that farming a little bit. And look at this Bully heading into the jungle again. He's going to head in behind KT Flash, scare him a little bit. Oh, wow, actually, a really, really good pillar. And there's the Flash burnt. That Q and bite, like, it's doing a fair amount of damage. Maybe they hotfixed it, because it seems like those auto attacks are doing a lot of damage.
Yep, and that was great. Burning the Flash is awesome. He's going to swing back around. Flash has an idea. Yep, he wards. Oh, but Bully should have his pillar up in a second. Oh, no, he's not going to try and get it. Flash does ping onto those wolves. He wants to make sure that Raven Knight knows that Bully's in his jungle, because it's like, just knowing where the jungler is good. I mean, Steven doesn't have any jungle support, so they can 2v1 top if Raven Knight wants to go in on this, but he chooses not to.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. Bully's doing a really, really great job of aggressively counter-jungling, because he knows that Raven Knight's on top, and that even if the bottom lane comes up to try and stop him, I mean, his own bottom lane is going to come up and help him out. It's going to end up being a 3v2, because at the time, KT Flash was in no shape to fight being out of mana.
Yeah, so remember when you said that we didn't think Bully was going to be able to counter jungle?
Honestly, like, I'm fascinated by this. Like, I mean, Trundle, I mean, as far as counter jungling goes, in his early days, like, he was pretty good at it. Again, you saw when he fought up against Bully, like, he's an excellent 1v1 duelist, but, I mean, you really have to try to stay in a fight with him, because otherwise, like, he can't necessarily, like, keep those fights going for too long.
Right. I mean, Trundle is very good at taking buffs. That's why he was always so good in Season 1 with, like, Baron and Dragon, was just because, like, with his ultimate he could take buffs because of the armor and MR reduction. But, I mean, obviously they changed that now. But he just does single target damage so well. He's going to walk right into Raven Knight. I'm going to duel it out right now.
Yeah, and this is actually going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be a 2v1 and even a 3v1, because in comes Frozen Fire from the top. Bully, I mean, he doesn't have Flash. He may not be able to escape this. Warajian going to try and defend him, but, I mean, that's... Oh, Raven Knight going in hardcore. He's dashing in. There's the exhaust going down on top of KT Flash. They might be able to pick up the kill. Raven Knight does go down, but... Oh, no, they both went down, actually. I was going to say Raven Knight went down and Bully at the exact same time, and Frozen Fire and KT Flash going to pick up those... actually, I was going to say... Frozen Fire didn't even get there in time for the assist, so he came down for nothing, and Steven's pushing the turret.
Oh, wave. Shen is level 6. He doesn't have his ultimate. I'm not sure if that was a misclick. You know, when you level up, sometimes I fat finger and accidentally hit the wrong thing, but he didn't have his ultimate, and that would have absolutely saved Bully and turned that completely around.
Oh my goodness, that's right, he did. He actually leveled up Shadow Dash an extra time. I mean, again, that may have been an accident, not really sure, but that's definitely, like, that might have cost them a kill they didn't need to lose.
That was absolutely an accident. There's no reason to ever level up Taunt before you need, and getting level 6 as Shen is like, that's your hallmark. You need to have that ultimate. That is unfortunate, really.
Yeah. Well, there's level 7. There he does pick up his Stand United, and so we're going to see... I actually, looking at the... KT Flash dropping the Vision Ward in mid, That's gotta suck for Warajian. I hate that so much. Warajian coming down, and, like, he wants to make something happen on top of Tomato Orange and Yarius, but, I mean... They obviously knew he was down there, and, like, they wanted to make something happen. That's what everyone's good at, that roaming gank. You'd never see it coming, but, you know, they're doing... Right now, like... Google's doing a pretty good job of not letting Warajian be useful at all.
Yep, and that's exactly what you need to do against Eve, is just make sure she doesn't, get rolling. And it's difficult sometimes, because even if it takes a little longer, if she does get rolling, she is still very strong. So it's sort of like a constant thing you have to do the entire game. You have to be aware that there's an Evelyn in the game. You have to be aware of what can happen if you try and engage and she pops up and all of a sudden she gets a double kill, and it just starts snowballing out of control. So, I mean, it's just... one of those champions you have to pay attention to the entire game.
Yep, definitely so. And I mean, despite the early death, where Ajin was able to pick up that kill, is staying almost even in the CS with KT Flash, despite Flash really trying Google trying their hardest to shut down Rajian. And I mean, again, like, you don't keep down an Evelyn, like you were just saying. I mean, they come back to bite you. Speaking of bite, Boley heading into the enemy jungle right now, and looking as though he's going to try and come around from behind the turret to make something happen, as Tomato Orange is alone in lane right now. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's gonna be a dead. Yep.
Oh, the flash and cleanse blown. Tomato Orange is done. Couldn't even get his ultimate off in time. A huge, huge gank from Amazon, and well played by Boley.
Yeah, he actually cleansed before the exhaust went down, so he still ended up exhausted that whole time. And by the way, that was the #1 worst segue I've ever heard.
I think it was awesome. Shut up.
Teddy warding deep into the bushes of Google's jungle. He's gonna walk right into Kale and Ravenite.
Oh boy, Teddy and Boley are in trouble. HGL 1 from the There's the dash in, and we're gonna see teleporting from top lane. Boley does go down too quickly. Frozen Fire getting the toss up on Teddy. Teddy's gonna go down too, and there's an ultimate coming top from Ezreal. Steven getting the stand unit off on HGL. They're gonna try and take out Yarius, and they are gonna pick up that kill. Oh wait a minute, maybe not the flash. Wow, they were almost she was almost able to dash right back onto HGL, and there's the flip. HGL might go down to poison here, and no, in fact, KT Flash can pick that off, and now they're going to try and pick off Steven. This is turning out to be an absolutely massive fight for Google, and there's a double kill. KT Flash is going to be unstoppable in lane right now, 5-0-1.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was really just an unfortunate time for Teddy to get caught, because he walked into Ravenite and Flash when both Waragian and HGL were out of mana, and that's just it's like you can't fight when both your carries are just can't use their abilities, and it's just, Kale's gonna be scary.
really, really
scary. TLDR. Kale's gonna be scary.
Yeah, this is just where it comes down to. I mean, their only real damage in that fight was HGL, and I mean, HGL, he was getting some damage off, but I mean, he got exhausted, and he wasn't able to do a whole lot before he got taken out, and Google was just running a train on the whole team during that time.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, all of the kills except for one on Yarius are stacked onto Kale. So if they can kill Kale, that'll be really nice for Amazon. But the hard part is killing Kale because of her ultimate.
Yeah, and I mean, even so, like, if you're going to protect your carries, like, Kale has got that. You don't have to go right in as Kale. She's got decent range on her abilities. She doesn't have to go right in there, and she's got a pretty strong front line in Leonis and Jin. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is for Amazon.
Yeah, they're just gonna have to farm up and try and catch up a little bit, and then avoid fighting for now, just because Kale already has her Nashor's Tooth like at 12 minutes in the game. That's really, really early.
But avoiding fights is not exactly in Boley's character description. He really wants to make something happen, but he got seen. Like, I mean, KT Flash knows he's in there, and that means Ravenite is free to orchestrate a lane gank on bottom lane, knowing that he's not going to be interfered with.
Yep,
and down comes Waragian to get the counter off. Let's see what happens. Teddy and HGL have no idea that Ravenite is in that bush right now.
No, they're going to try. Oh, Viari's missing.
I was going to say missing that, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think Teddy's going to go. Waragian going to try to get there in time, but it's way too late. The ultimate going down on HGL, landing the slope, not the stun. Is Yari's going to be able to? There's an ultimate from Waragian doing absolutely no damage at all. But looking at that, HGL was able to get his ultimate off, which is just enough damage. And Frozen Fire and Steven dueling top lane. Frozen Fire absolutely destroying Steven.
Oh, no.
That is why I was going to say.
Okay, and there's the pause.
There's a pause. I was going to say, how does that? I was busy watching the action bottom lane, and I was like, how did that?
Yeah.
How did that go down? How does a Shen die to Singed with the Singed at half health? But
well, I was watching them fight before, and it was like two brick walls walking into each other. Like, they just weren't damaging each other at all.
I was gonna say, that's not exactly. I mean, that's pretty much the description of a farm lane right there. But I mean, that's really unfortunate, giving that sort of extra kill.
Yeah, but Waragian bottom did do a good job of knowing that they could grab the kill on Yarius. I mean, because HGL still hadn't used his ultimate, and I mean, even though Eve's ultimate is a lot weaker, it was still enough. It's still burst. I mean, and with the ignite and the ultimate from HGL, it's just, it was just enough to kill Yarius. So, and they both got out alive. So that was a wonderful one.
I was gonna say, you can't see chat right now, but Frozen Fire commenting on his dishonorable kill. Sorry, Steven, I am a horrible person. Steven saying, don't worry, it's okay. So everything's we got real good sportsmen in this game.
Good guy, Frozen Fire.
Yep.
Oh,
Now
okay.
Arajian getting back to mid lane thanks to,
Hold
I mean,
on.
he's got a little bit of extra gold now.
Hold on.
Hold on, what?
Um, Tomato Orange has a Bilgewater Cutlass.
Ah, yes.
And I know, at least I've heard, that that's becoming very popular in Korea. I'm not...
Does Bilgewater Cutlass build into, son of?
Blade of the Rune King.
Oh, well,
Right?
and
Right?
we're actually trying to come to lane, but Frozen Fire actually running in the opposite direction. I guess they didn't see that one coming. Frozen Fire saying, all right, now you guys head top lane. I'm just going to go mid.
He's just being
No problem.
singed. They had no
Yep.
idea. They're just noticing.
No, I was going to say they realized they went up there, the contaminate, the contaminate ground was blown, and they walked up there, and Cinder's like, nope, see ya.
But Bilgewater does build into Blade of the Rune King, right?
Yes.
Okay. I never build that item, so I don't actually know.
No, it's getting a lot more popular. There's been a lot of recent analysis on it done by again people over on what is it, Rainy Gaming, I think.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of talk about it over on Team Liquid. I was really actually starting to get annoyed with all the talk of it because I think it was about 10 pages worth of our general discussion thread. And now Arajian coming to bottom lane, really wants to make something happen. Not going to get seen by that ward, but Tomato Orange, I guess, probably did manage to see Arajian, because if he went close enough, the fact that Arajian is standing on the ward really grants vision of that area. So Tomato Orange did see it coming, and they're sort of backing off to the side there.
Yeah, and Teddy was trying, he threw that ward down, like, I think he knew that there was a pink. Oh, the pink just died. Oh, and there's another one.
And there's another one.
I think he knew that the pink was there because he wanted to sort of bait them into killing it, just so that Arajian can come in, but I think they knew. I do think they did possibly see him, and they just had the idea that, the Eve gank was coming. Because once you see Eve not mid, it's like, okay, we gotta go super passive.
Yeah, all lanes have to be on high alert, essentially. Right. That's pretty much how it goes. And I mean that's sort of a frustrating way to play against someone, but that's what's got to be done, or at least it used to be. I'm not. Oh, here comes the gank of bully, contaminate going down, and there's the ultimate KT flash dropping that pillar, and just so much damage going down to him. The ultimate is going to save him enough time. He does manage to flash and get over the turret, with Rajan eating a lot of turret ticks, and the ignite. Rajan really really close, and now Stand United being blown, but kind of unnecessary. He did have it canceled on him, actually. Top lane, Steven and Frozen Fire. Oh my goodness. Steven actually having to flash out, and they are going to take up the top turret. An excellent sort of counter push top lane.
Yeah, and we do see that very, very early locket, which is, oh, and bottom lane, Yari's taking a lot of punishment.
Oh my goodness, the ultimate going down. Yari's barely surviving this. Tomato Orange actually flashing into the action, almost going down. He actually had to blow his flash to get out.
Yeah.
I guess that's one of those misclick things we hear so much about. But really, really close. And there's a stun going down on Tomato Orange. Are they going to be able to get the burst to go down? Oh no, Yarius!
Wow.
Are you serious? Is this really happening? Is this real life? Is this real life? There's the final Q, Tomato Orange. That
beautiful.
Was the ballsiest play I've ever seen. I did not think Yarius was going to survive that.
Wow, Yarius, I think he just waited for all three of his non-ultimate cooldowns to come up, jumped right in and exhausted immediately, and that was so well played. Like the communication bottom was obviously there because Tomato Orange was all over that.
Just fantastic play from that duo bottom lane. Tomato Orange and Yarius really, really like owning that. Like were losing a team fight, they turned it around. It was fantastic.
Yep. And right now we're only up, okay, not only, but about 5,000 gold difference.
Only 5,000 gold, yeah.
That's it. At 17 minutes in, and right now, Amazon just needs to. Oh, Dragon just came up. I was gonna say try and maybe get some assertion on Dragon area, but it's about to go down. There's nothing they can do about it right now.
No, definitely, and that's just going to further increase. They're going to add about another 1,000 to that gold lead. So we're seeing now 6,000 gold lead in favor of Google, and Google's really they're really owning this game right now. They're doing an excellent job of just shutting down each and every lane systematically.
Yeah, they're definitely taking command with that Fed Kale mid right now, and oh, Ravenik gets spotted by a ward, but Rajan's got to be careful. There's 3 members of Google's team right around him.
Yeah, he needs to be very careful. I mean, he's stealthed, but I mean, he's not necessarily all that stealthy. If he can get seen, Rajan trying to go in, they're trying to make something happen on Flash again, but Raven is going to come to the rescue. There's the locket, the flash in, counter engage on top of Rajan. Rajan's really, really low. That shield's going to knock him. Oh, here comes a stun on top of Yari's, and look at that. Rajan is dead one more time. Ravenite getting stunned so that he cannot keep going in on top of Bully, and Yari's just warding off the rest of Amazon, saying, no, 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 no. You get out of here. This is our side of the map.
Teddy and Frozen Fire high-fiving in the jungle.
Yeah,
and,
pretty nice.
Like, that right there was a really good demonstration of just the pure sticking power from Google. Eve could not get away. There was no way, just because Xin Zhao can keep dashing. Leona can keep dashing in and stunning. And it's really, really difficult to do anything, coming from Amazon right now.
Yeah, and I mean, again, oh, here's the engage on top of HGL. This is trouble. HGL should not have been there alone, and that's, I mean, that's a really easy kill from Google.
Yeah, and Tomato does have his Blade or the Rune King on. So, I mean, he's got that little bit of tankiness, he's got, that little bit of lifesteal. It's just like, he's going to be difficult to deal with right now.
Yeah, very difficult. And I mean, Tomato Orange ER is going to probably take down this turret right now. Not a whole lot Teddy can do about it, but Boley might have something to say. There's the stun going down. There's the ultimate. Boley going to try to get in, but Teddy, I guess, a little bit of miscommunication right there. Teddy blowing all of his abilities, saying, Boley, come on, we're going to go in there, we're going to fight this. But I guess Boley was not quite ready.
Google right now, the problem for Amazon is that Flash did get fed really early. And that's something that they have to deal with, and like they can't really fight him or stop him right now. So because of that, they're trying to put all their efforts into sort of just managing it, and the rest of the Google team is getting fed because of it. Or not necessarily fed, but really strong. They're getting, more difficult to deal with, and it's a classic case, that you see in solo queue all the time. But, oh, hold on.
Yeah, I was going to say a little bit of aggression going down, and we're actually having to blow his ultimate to help him escape. And look at that, the slow puddle going down, and Boley getting that stand united, but it's not going to be enough. Boley is going to go down. Steven coming in there, godlike KT Flash, and Warajin just having to run for his life. Even Steven is having to run. I mean, we're seeing, like, Shen, Frozen Fire is tanking turret hits right now. Frozen Fire getting that poison take. He is actually going to survive this, getting a heal from KT Flash, and Warajin is stuck defending the turret on his own with a fifth of his health. Like, there is almost nothing right now that Amazon can do right now. They just don't have the damage.
Yeah, and as I was saying, they're like, Google is doing a really good job of taking the little lead they had and just keep, expanding it and compounding it, just take the little mistakes that that Amazon makes and just capitalize on them, and they're just doing a great job of it.
Yeah, and I mean, Amazon had the right idea. Like, they were making that early, jungle aggression, work for them. But again, if they really wanted to make that happen, I would argue someone better than Evelyn. What about Ari? What about, someone who actually brings some hard CC to the table, that you can shut down someone in their own jungle? But again, I'm really thinking it comes down to picks and bans.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree right now. I mean, and what's funny is it's not because of the Trundle pick. The Trundle's doing really well.
No, I was gonna say it really doesn't seem to be because of what Boley's doing his absolute damnedest to make this work.
Right, and yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's just, yeah, Eve just doesn't bring quite enough to the table, which, I mean, personally, I don't mind. I freaking hate that champion, but and right now, Amazon's just gonna keep farming up, I guess. They're 6,000 or 8,000 behind right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, it's only 20 minutes in the game, and stranger things have happened. I mean, it is definitely possible for there to be a throw. There could be a counter disconnect. Steven could pick up a kill on Frozen Fire. You never know.
And then apologize for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, but I mean, Amazon is going to be very hard pressed. Like, I mean, they got to make something happen here. They got to be proactive. But how can they when they're just so far behind?
Yeah, they don't even have any towers down right now. Like, if they can get a tower, it will help. They just need to start finding money for their team. It's really difficult. Oh, and Teddy's.
The aggressive push against Yarius and Tomato Orange, they know that something's up. They're just sort of kiting back, and here we go. There's the ultimate going down, only hitting Yarius. Tomato Orange actually getting out perfectly fine, and now the counter against Yarius being a baller and going in on top of Warajin with very low health, trying to buy enough time for KT Flash to get down. Is he going to be able to get down in time? Try to land that Q. Is he going to get it in time? He is going to land that Reckoning on top of Warajin, and there's the ultimate. He's going to try and dive this turret, and instead they are going to be content. They're not going to be able to pick anyone up here. It is going to be a 3v3 at the bottom lane turret, and I'm surprised that Google hasn't really picked up the turret yet. Are they going to take it right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Certainly looks like it. Yeah.
But Amazon actually did a really good job of managing that push and that gank from Flash. Just the smoke screen from AHGL, the stun from Teddy, and like, even though Kale blew his ultimate to try and get in there, it was just wasted. I mean, because he just couldn't go any further.
Yeah, I think what Amazon probably could have done to actually try to make that work, they needed to make it a little less obvious, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because, I mean, Teddy, they were playing pretty safe, Teddy and HGL, and then Teddy goes in with an aggressive stun on top of Tomato Orange, blows all those abilities well. I mean, it's pretty obvious what's going down right now.
Yeah, and that's one of those game sense things that's a little difficult to develop. It's just something that you learn over time from playing. But both Yarius and Tomato Orange, have enough sense to realize, okay, so Teddy just got really aggressive. There's something's up. Like we got to be careful.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, their game sense did not fail them at all. Let's have a now look at the builds for a minute. So we do see a locket from both the junglers. We're actually getting an Aegis already on Raven Knight, so that's pretty huge. I mean, that just increases the power of their team fight even more. And I'm looking at the AP builds. We do see a Leandries from both teams, and actually we're seeing Merc treads on Waragian.
I mean, I guess that's I don't have much to say. Like, there's not really that much CC. I mean, I guess the slow, but he does have that, his W, or is it Eve's W that kills the slow? Yeah. That, I mean, removes all movement speed reduction. So, I mean, I don't really understand the...
I guess she just tried to make, oh, here we go, we're going to see again the aggressive Bully attacking KD Flash, but, like, I mean, Bully can't do anything right now. Flash is 4 levels above him right now. I mean, it's just, there's no contest right now as to who would win that 1v1. And it looks as though they might have to lose another turret here for it.
Yeah, Raven Knight's just got, Bully trying, or I'm not sure if he was baiting, but just getting stopped from that recall.
Yarius getting caught here. I actually have to flash over the wall. I mean, it looks as though he really wanted to try and engage on top of AHGL, but Teddy, really quick with the stun, was not allowing that to happen, and so he ended up eating pretty much everybody's abilities right to the face, and they had to back off.
Yeah, I admire Bully trying to gank Flash, but Raven Knight is just, like, pretty much always there. Raven Knight's doing a really good job of having a lot of presence mid, just to make sure that Flash just stays as strong as he is and gets even stronger.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem, I think, is that Bully, I mean, I guess he was trying to make himself a threat early, but at this point in the game, he's not a threat at all. He can't get on top of anybody instantly like Raven Knight can. He has to sort of run towards them. He has to drop a couple abilities to do it, and even then, they can still technically run out. It just takes them a little while longer.
Right, and this is sort of the downside of the Trundle pick. If you get set back, it's really hard to do anything to make that ground up. And it's really showing right now. It's because you're right. He is just not quite strong enough to do what he needs to do.
I'm actually, I mean, at this point in the game, we're looking at almost a full 10k gold advantage in favor of Google right now, and I'm honestly really surprised we haven't seen more towers and objectives go down. I'm not really sure what Google is waiting for.
Yeah, Google can definitely force objectives a little bit stronger, but it's also the fact that they can afford to be a bit more cautious with it. I mean, it's not like their team composition gets any worse as the game. Oh, Steven.
No, I was gonna say
Steven
killing that dash a little bit.
But Google's team comp,
you're not escaping the poison just yet.
Google's team comp doesn't really get any worse as the game goes on, so they can afford to be patient, let themselves farm up, take objectives when they present themselves, capitalize on the little mistakes without really being really risky about it. Oh, and Rajan.
Yeah, but not both. The stun going on top of Yarius. They're blowing absolutely everything to take him out, and look at that. They are able to pick up a kill. It only took them 4 members of the team on 1 to do it, and Waragian's still at half health.
Hey man, it doesn't matter. That's exactly what you gotta do. You have to catch them when they make the little mistakes, and that's that's how you win games. Is just finding the little mistakes and taking them and making the most out of them. And that's the beginning. That's what you have to do.
It's a start. It's certainly a start in the right direction for Amazon, and so that little mistake from Yarius are able to sort of put them a few hundred gold, closing that deficit.
And I mean, the farm is fairly equal. I mean, Shen and Singed are a little bit different. They all have a little bit different levels of farm, but like across the board, it's pretty equal for both teams.
Yeah, overall, I would say noticeably, I think AHGL, again, he's going to have to be the real strength of the team right now. I mean, he's got his Bloodthirster PD right now, and I mean that's really where all the damage is going to have to come from until Waragian manages to pick up his Zhonya's, which he's building towards with that Seeker's Arm Guard. Until he picks up that Zhonya's, he's really just going to have to sort of run in there, do just tiny little amounts of damage, and, if he wants to escape alive, he's going to have to get out. Once he picks up that Zhonya's, he gets a pretty big damage boost, as well as a safety boost from the armor and the active.
Right, and top lane, Frozen Fire is just playing this ridiculous game of attrition with Steven. Steven just doesn't, they don't do much damage to each other, but it's slowly tipping in favor of Frozen Fire through all
Yep.
their fights, and it's
Finally, Google picking up that next mid turret. I mean, are they going to continue their push? They're going to back off. It looks as Raven and Yaris want to try to pick off Teddy over here, but it's not going to happen. Steven's at half health. I mean, so this might be a good time to try to engage on top of the turret. Boley trying to sort of ward them off with a pillar, knowing that he can't really engage just yet because he's at, I mean, they're at a pretty decent level disadvantage right now.
right.
And I mean, looking at this Frozen Fire, I mean, he's got his teleport. He knows that he can just push top lane all day if he's not stopped, because the 4 of them alone can present a threat to the middle turret.
Yeah, he's just being singed. He's like, that's just what Singe does. He's just staying out and not really worrying about his team at all. And Google just, grabbing this blue buff. Oh, Boley, no!
Boley getting caught. He's a little bit too squishy this early in the game, getting caught by all 5 members, and Kale picking up the kill once again to be legendary 8-0 right now, and they're going to get a tower and maybe even a Baron off of it.
They're definitely getting the tower. Yeah, I mean, they could probably swing over to the Baron. They do enough damage at this point. But Flash, wants to get in there. Oh, Regin getting caught.
Looking at that, there's the standing in on top of Regin, and there's the stun going down. He's actually getting a Tomato Orange is actually standing way in the back, doing his job absolutely perfectly. Raven Knight getting that ultimate from Kale, so he's able to get in and do a little bit more damage. But now that Google's a little bit low on life, they're going to have to back out. I'm not really sure. There was a little bit. It looked like there were just a little bit of miscommunication. A couple of them were backing off into base when the engage happened. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're Flash in his position, you're 8-0, man. You want to keep going, like, and you get fed like that, and you're just like, all right, I want to fight, I want to kill people, and that's sort of. What?
Look what he just bought! Look what Frozen Fire just bought! My favorite item.
Oh.
Twin Shadows. I love Twin Shadows. It's my favorite item in the game right now. I love those little ghosts. They're so cute.
It is a very fun item, and it works really well with Google's team, to be honest. I mean, all that dive, now you can catch people. Oh, and there's the pillar, hitting Frozen Fire to the ruins of the tower.
I was gonna say, not that Google's had much trouble catching people thus far, but I mean, we're gonna see how that Twin Shadows really helps him out. It's certainly gonna help him find Waragian wherever he may be.
That's true. And the dragon did just pop up again, so Google wants to swing over. Oh, Raven Knight walking right into Waragian.
Oh my goodness, Waragian. Yeah, but I was going to say Raven Knight's not exactly in any danger here. If anything, I'd be more worried for Waragian, despite the level disparity. So I don't know, we'll have to see. There's the, wow, them just instantly taking out that ward, and going to be another dragon for Google, further increasing that gold lead. And they are going to be ahead.
4th dragon?
Yeah, they're going to be ahead by over 10,000 gold right now.
It's really, like, it's tough losing, map control on that dragon area, because once you do, it's really difficult to get it back, and it's so much money all the time. And Frozen Fire, holy crap, he is
getting caught
balls
by
out.
the entire enemy team, but I'm thinking of literally the entire enemy team going to try and take out Frozen Fire. Is it going to be too much for our friend Singed? Finally, they're going to be able to take him out, and it looks as though he's the ultimate from Flash, and he gets out okay. Waragian eating so much poison. That was amazing. He was able to survive long enough for the rest of his team to pick them up, and pick them up they will. In comes Steven.
He comes in to take the kill.
And he gets that kill. Unbelievable. And so now, I mean, it looks as though Amazon, they're all but finished here. They're going to pick up a Baron off of this.
Hey man, that's Singed right there. He got exhausted twice and still managed to make it out alive. And that ultimate from Flash was so clutch. That was beautiful.
I was going to say that's the second clutch kill ult I've seen today. Yep. The earlier one was during an LCS game where Crumbs got ulted and believed he was safe, and then he just sort of AFK back to base. He got killed. It was pretty amazing. I'm sure it's going to be on Reddit at some point. It was pretty nice to see.
Awesome. Oh man,
yeah, so they're going to pick up the Baron, and oh my god, the gold.
12.5 gold. 12,500 gold. It's rough.
12.5 gold?
12.5.
Well, that's not so big.
Screw you, man.
I mean, knowing that, I mean, Google's going to have to head back to base now. Amazon's going to take advantage and take out a turret here, and I mean, that's pretty good. Like, any way to decrease that gold disparity.
Right,
like,
and that's perfect.
Exactly what they need to be doing right now. But they now need to go and they need to pick up a lot more farm to try to pick up their damage.
Yeah, grab that little timing window. I mean, they do take towers out pretty quickly. They just need that 15 seconds to get there safely. And they timed it perfectly. They knew that Frozen Fire was all but dead, even though he's singed, and that he had to go back. And most of the rest of Google's team just needed to buy. I mean, they just had a huge fight. They got Baron. They had a lot of money sitting in their bank.
That's Sin Chase, man. I want to believe that they planned it that way.
Oh, all
That
planned.
they assumed Frozen Fire was going to survive, and Frozen Fire was like, no, look, I'm going to bring them all to you. Here I go, guys. Here I go.
Right.
I want to believe that's how it went down.
Dude, that's singed. He had all 5 members on him. Like,
Just
I
ridiculous.
love it.
Absolutely ridiculous. That's
And see, Kale's build.
Oh, here we go. The stun landing on KT Flash. They're still, again, going to try and take him out, but it's not going to be enough. Teddy eating a whole bunch of damage from that KT Flash AoE. And I mean, like, again, they try to make those engages happen, but, I mean, Google's just too strong. They
Yeah.
try to make something happen, but they don't have enough damage to take out any member of them, even when they get caught. And now Rajian eating a little bit of damage. You can see all those little flame debuffs on everybody from both those Leandries, and now they're just going to start taking
how
out
fast that tower goes down. That's
Only going to try to work. Actually, getting dove on by Raven Knight. And like I said, that killer not doing a whole lot. Only stopping. Oh, look, there's an ultimate going down on top of Yaris. Is he actually going to go down? Maybe able to take him out? No. Steven coming in, and look at that Raven Knight getting that kill. There's a double kill now on top of it. It's 10 kills now for KT Flash. Is he going to be able to get on? No, Frozen Fire's going to get one here. And now Bolly's going to go down to Raven Knight, and the final kill, will HGL go down as well? Is Frozen Fire going to be able to flip another base? Oh, look at that dive, Yarius. And that's a 5-0 ace.
That is going to be the end of the game right there.
You sure?
I'm fairly sure.
It's pretty sure. And there's, I mean, absolutely being dominated. Like, Google played that game so unbelievably well. KT Flash going to finish this game 10-0, a perfect game for him. Well done.
Yeah, that Kale mid, man, that was just so strong. Flash did really, really well with it, just taking advantage and rolling with it. That was really great.
So what do you think? She get nerfed?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Not a doubt in my mind.
All right. Well, it looks as though that is going to be it for us for this week of AHGL. So I hope you guys really, really enjoyed it. I believe since this one was sort of a late layover from last week, we're going to be casting again probably on Sunday.
Sunday at 6
And there will be other
o'clock.
games happening. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, we got scheduled already.
Hey, what do you know? So we're going to be casting this Sunday at 6 o'clock. What's the game?
It is. Let me look. Zynga versus Cerner.
Zynga and Cerner. All right, those two teams definitely. I want to see which of those two teams is definitely going to be the dominating one on that one, because I think either of those teams could probably win. So we're gonna have to see how that one goes. So that's going to be it for us for this week. HGL. I am Wave of Shadow.
I am Sonav, and thank you for joining us. We will hopefully see you on Sunday.